Bear down, Chicago. Are you ready for a potential game changer that could finally fix our defense? We all know the pass rush was a major concern last season, and while we've been waiting for a move, the rumor mill is absolutely exploding today with a massive name back in the spotlight. Could we actually be closing in on a blockbuster trade for an elite defensive superstar? This situation is heating up fast, and you definitely don't want to miss the details on this possible arrival. Stick with me through this video to find out why. Make sure you're subscribed for daily Bears updates. The Chicago Bears find themselves in a precarious position as the 2026 season approaches, with the glaring need for a dominant pass rusher still echoing throughout the halls of Halas Hall. While the team has made several strategic roster moves this offseason, the lack of pressure on opposing quarterbacks remains a significant hurdle for the defense. Last season, the unit struggled to consistently get to the passer, finishing with a meager 35 sacks. Despite the obvious deficiency, the front office has yet to secure a high-impact veteran to bolster the defensive front. This gap has naturally shifted the spotlight back to the potential availability of Raiders defensive end Maxx Crosby. The connection between Chicago and the five-time Pro Bowler is not new, as the team was heavily linked to a potential blockbuster deal earlier this year. That high-profile trade collapsed when the Baltimore Ravens attempted to acquire him, only for the move to be nullified due to concerns regarding his medical record. Now, with the summer heat rising, the conversation regarding Crosby's future has reignited. His recent cryptic activity on social media, specifically a post stating, "Stop people-pleasing, handle business accordingly," has sent shockwaves through the fan base and ignited fresh speculation across the league. Whether or not this sentiment signals a desire to depart from Las Vegas remains the primary question. With the Raiders currently navigating a full-scale rebuilding phase, the logic of a departure seems to align with the team's long-term trajectory. As the Bears continue to evaluate their options, every move, or lack thereof, regarding Maxx Crosby is being scrutinized by those who want to see Chicago finally solidify their defensive edge and truly bear down. The intrigue surrounding Maxx Crosby and his potential arrival in Chicago centers on the immediate impact he would provide for a roster that is otherwise primed for success. Currently, the Bears are pinning their hopes on a rotation featuring Dayo Odeyingbo and Austin Booker to anchor the pass rush. The reality of this situation is clear. Odeyingbo struggled with significant injury concerns, appearing in just 8 games last season with a single sack before suffering an Achilles tear. Meanwhile, Booker provided flashes of potential by logging 4.5 sacks in 10 games, but relying on developing players to anchor such a critical position presents an undeniable risk. Why does this matter right now? In a league defined by the ability to disrupt the pocket, the absence of a proven elite pass rusher limits the ceiling of the entire defensive unit. Adding a talent like Crosby, who is under contract through 2029 following his massive $106.5 million extension, would immediately transform the defensive front by providing a terrifying complement to Montez Sweat. The financial implications of such a move would be substantial, given the nature of his current deal, but the competitive necessity of elevating the pass rush cannot be ignored. The ambiguity of his status in Las Vegas creates a unique window of opportunity that the Bears cannot afford to overlook if they are serious about contending this year. If the Raiders decide that a roster overhaul is the only path forward, Chicago stands as the most logical landing spot for a player of his caliber. The narrative of this potential acquisition continues to evolve, keeping the pressure on the organization to address their most significant deficiency before the trade deadline in November arrives and options dwindle. The uncertainty surrounding Maxx Crosby's future is amplified by the fact that he is a premier talent in the prime of his career at 28 years old. His presence on the trade block, whether realized this summer or deep into the autumn, would be the most significant development of the year for Chicago. The failed trade earlier this offseason involving the Baltimore Ravens provides a cautionary tale about the complexities involved in acquiring a player with his injury history. Yet it does not diminish the sheer value he offers on the field. For the Bears, the focus must remain on whether the risk associated with his medical background is outweighed by the immediate production he would bring to a defense that desperately needs a force on the edge. The connection between Crosby and the team is sustained by the obvious tactical fit. He is widely regarded as one of the best in the business, and his arrival would solve the persistent lack of pressure that plagued the defense throughout the previous campaign. As the team moves through organized team activities and nears training camp, the internal evaluation of current players like Odiingbo and Booker will become more intense, but it is unlikely that their development will curb the appetite for a game changer. The narrative of this entire offseason for Chicago has been defined by the search for that missing piece, and the speculation about a potential deal for a superstar like him serves as the anchor for the team's current identity crisis. Whether the front office decides to aggressively pursue this path or stick to their current roster, the shadow cast by the possibility of such a significant acquisition will loom over every defensive snap until a resolution is reached. The evolving situation with Maxx Crosby forces us to consider the strategic flexibility of the Chicago front office. While no move has been made to secure a veteran presence in free agency, the possibility of a blockbuster trade represents a completely different philosophy. Engaging in a trade for a player under a long-term, high-value contract requires significant commitment and resources, indicating a clear desire to win immediately. If the Bears were to pull the trigger on a deal for him, it would effectively signal an end to the period of uncertainty regarding their pass rush. However, the organization must weigh the massive financial commitment of his 3-year, $106.5 million extension against the immediate need for defensive improvement. The interplay between his cryptic social media posts and the Raiders' rebuilding status suggests a potential breaking point that could force the franchise's hand. For observers of the team, the wait is filled with questions about whether the door to acquire such a cornerstone defender is genuinely open or merely a product of persistent rumors. The desire to see a dominant edge defender opposite Montez Sweat has become the central focus of the discourse surrounding this squad. As the clock ticks toward the start of the season, the pressure to address the 35-sack total from a year ago grows with every passing day. The team's inability to address this during the initial free agency window means that all eyes are now on the trade market. It is a high-stakes game of patience and negotiation where the ultimate prize is a defensive identity that can dictate the tempo of games against the elite competition of the conference. Every development involving his status is a direct reflection of Chicago's needs. Ultimately, the quest for a solution to the pass rush problem brings us back to the reality of the 2026 landscape. Whether the solution comes via a massive trade for Maxx Crosby or through the internal growth of existing personnel, the requirement to elevate the defensive performance is absolute. As we track these developments, it is clear that the team's success hinges on their ability to create pressure and protect their quarterback, Caleb Williams, by keeping the opposing offense under duress. The ongoing conversation about his availability is not just about one player. It is about the broader ambition of the franchise to solidify itself as a legitimate threat. If the Bears decide that the path forward involves a significant investment in a proven star, they will be making a statement about their commitment to excellence in the immediate term. For those who follow the team closely, the next few months will be critical in determining how the organization navigates its most glaring weakness. We are keeping a close watch on every rumor, report, and social media hint, as the situation remains fluid and highly consequential for the upcoming year. The fans demand a championship-caliber effort, and solving the pass rush is the fundamental step in that direction. We will continue to break down the implications of every potential roster adjustment and keep you updated on whether this high-profile move ever comes to fruition. Thank you for staying tuned to our coverage and for your continued passion as we monitor this ongoing saga. If you enjoyed this analysis and want to keep up with every update on the Chicago Bears, make sure to subscribe to the channel and join our community as we prepare for the season ahead.